Hi everyone, I wanted to come on here real quick and talk about something that I think is important to address. I want to talk about how I, as an adult, as a queer person, as a sober person, have built community and found friendships without drinking. Because that's the biggest piece that people have trouble with or struggle with when they try to get sober. When they think about getting sober, they think, where is my social life going to come from? Who am I going to interact with? Who am I going to be around? And this is a valid question because I had the same thought too when I got sober, because my entire identity and sense of being was in the bars and was in drinking and was going out with my friends and getting drunk. And so I could not even conceive of life without any of that. It just wasn't possible for me. So I wanted to make this video just to share my experience of how I managed to do that without drinking. And now admittedly, it's not one size fits all. Everyone's gonna have different ways of doing it. And I also want to talk about how I've done it while living abroad. How I've managed to find community without going to the bars every night. Because there's a lot of bars in Amsterdam. There's a lot of drinking culture here, a lot of drug use, alcohol use, marijuana use, all of that is very prevalent here. So, how have I managed to find community in a new country without relying on alcohol and drug use? That's what I want to talk about today. First off, let me tell you, so I got sober November of 2017, so I've got about almost 8.5 years, which is a really long time. You know, I didn't think I would ever make that much time, or get that much time, but I did it. And it was very hard. Those first few weeks especially were really rough. I was really struggling with friendships and my identity pieces and all of that. But what happened was I went to meetings. I went to AA meetings almost every day for the first few months. And I made friends in the rooms. And I got connected with people who were also sober and went to sober game nights and sober movie nights and sober dances and sober parties and all those things. And that was a good stepping stone for me to eventually be able to make friends outside of the sober community. And of course I still had some friends from before I quit drinking who were still friends with me, who I still hung out with. But a lot of those friendships kind of fell away because of my drinking and the way I acted when I was drinking. As I mentioned maybe in other videos, I think I've said something about that. So anyway, so those friendships fizzled out or changed or just ended, and I had to start all over again in sobriety. And like I said, I went to meetings, I made friends in the meetings, I went to sober events, and that was how I started out. That's really what I did at first. Was I made friends with people in the meetings. I found community in that way. And eventually that grew into me being able to set foot into spaces where I had previously drank, and without needing to drink. I was able to go to the bars and the clubs and parties and all of that where alcohol was present and be fine. So now I want to shift talking about moving abroad to Amsterdam, to a new city, making friends here as a sober queer adult. How did I do it? Well, it has been a challenge, I will say. It has not been the smoothest path, I will say. But, you know, again, like I've been going to meetings, I've been meeting people in meetings, I have gotten very involved already, I've gone to exercise classes, and I have gone to different events around the city. I went to a trivia night the other night and made friends there. I've gone to a few different dance clubs and met friends there. So I've made lots of friends in different ways. But I wouldn't say that it's not easy to make friends as an adult anyway. And it's even harder sometimes when you're sober and when you're queer and you have all these layers of identity. It becomes a little harder in many ways. So it's still something I'm figuring out. You know, I don't have a wide group of friends. I never really have. It's never really been who I am. But I do have a small group back in the States of people that I'm friends with. And I'm working to build that here. I've made friends with expats who I've met through various communities I'm part of, various Facebook groups or different groups I'm part of. So that has been a way that I've made friends and connections here. Yeah, so if you're wondering, how do you make friends? How do you navigate friendship sober? How do you form community? I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard. It takes work, it takes effort. You have to really want it. You have to really reach for it because it's not gonna come to you. People are not just gonna walk up and be like, hey, let's be friends. That might happen if you're lucky, but for the most part, people aren't gonna say that. So you're gonna need to make an effort to do the work to make it happen for yourself. Whether that's making friends in a new country or making friends sober or whatever the situation is, you need to make an effort. Get out there, put yourself out there, go to everything you can, every event you can. If somebody invites you to a baby shower or a wedding or a funeral or whatever, if somebody invites you to opening up an envelope, you say yes and you go. That's what I recommend, is go say yes to everything. Several of the friends I've made here are people that I met at events that I went to from Meetup, and I just made friends that way. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to this event, even though I have no interest in this, no idea what it is. I'm still going to go to it. And I went to it, and I made friends. Now, will those people I'm not going to see again? Maybe, who knows? But I've done the work, I'm doing the work, I'm trying to make this happen, because forming community is one of the best ways not only to stay sober, but also to adjust to a new country. It is absolutely paramount that you do that work, because otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, you're going to drink again, you're going to want to move back, you're going to leave everything, and that's not good either. So do the work to make friends, form communities, get friendships developed. It's worth it. It's hard. It's gonna suck sometimes. You're gonna really struggle, but you need to do the work, because being alone and by yourself, it can be fun at times, but it's also really isolating, and isolation is deadly. Literally, I know people who died because they were isolated and they didn't reach out for help at all. It kills people. So don't be one of those people. Make friends. Go to everything, say yes to everything. Reach out to people. Support other people when they need help. They'll help you. That's what I'm going to say. But also don't be afraid to say no occasionally, because you let your boundaries down when you're sober, because there's nothing holding you back now, so you learn better boundaries for yourself. So you may be tempted to let your guard down and let everyone in, and that's not good either. So just be very aware of who you invite into your circle of friends, because some people will take advantage of you or will use you for something else. I'm not talking any sort of sexual or anything like that way. That could happen too, of course. But I mean, like, more in the, like, not every friendship is a good friendship, is what I mean. Like, so some friends will take advantage of your kindness and generosity, and they'll suck you dry. And because you're sober and you want to make friends, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll let you suck me dry. It's totally fine. I don't mind. And then you wind up realizing that you used all your energy, all your money, all your time has gone to this one friend. And what have you gotten in them from return? Nothing. So just be aware of that as well. Be aware of the people in your life who might want to take advantage of you. Keep your guard up. It doesn't mean don't let anyone in, just be very aware of who you let in and how they can help move you forward in life instead of holding you back. That's all I'm gonna say today. So we're gonna go in here and talk real quick about making friends as a sober queer person, making friends abroad. They're kind of related to each other. And if you have questions about how to do any of this, let's chat. I'd love to talk with you about how you can do it. Either whether that's moving abroad or making friends sober or both. Either one. I'd love to chat with you about that. Get at me in the comments if you want to talk. All right. Hope you all do well. Have a good night. Bye.